Chapter 4. New World. That long-awaited day, on the way to school, Ferry's excitement faded away with each step he took. Standing before the school building, he bid farewell to his mother, forcing a smile before venturing into the bustling schoolyard. The cacophony of children's voices filled the air, talking, laughing, and shouting all at once. Each pair of eyes seemed to fixate on him as he navigated through the crowd. Ferry's stomach churned with nerves. He wanted to run back to his mother and beg her to take him home. What if the other children were mean to him? What if they laughed at him? Or worse, didn't talk to him at all? Just as he was considering turning back, he bumped into Matt. Or perhaps it was the other way around. "I've been looking for you," said Matt. "I thought you might need a friend since you're new here." Ferry's eyes widened at the sight of his new self-proclaimed friend. Matt was a girl. Her name was Matilda Harper, and her father was Samuel Harper, the shoemaker. She was wearing the school's uniform, a white blouse, and a navy blue skirt. Both her blouse and skirt were rumpled, and one of her knee-high socks had slipped down her leg, squeezing around the ankle. It surprised Ferry a bit that her shoes were not polished or new, considering she was the shoemaker's daughter. But he didn't have time to dwell on it. Matilda took him by the hand and pulled him after her as she talked about her dog, Shadow, who had climbed a tree all the way to the top. "Have you ever seen a dog climbing a tree?" "Well, my Shadow can," Matilda boasted, her eyes gleaming with pride. Ferry thought he should compliment Matilda's dog, but something held him back. Suddenly, a sweet, subtle scent of spring flowers and wood wafted over him. A girl passed by, and though he only saw her from behind, he couldn't look away. She wore the same uniform as the other girls, but there was something different about her. Maybe it was the fresh, white gardenias in her braids, or the way the sun glinted in her chestnut hair. Perhaps it was the delicate grace of her hands, resembling white lilies swaying in the breeze as she walked. Whatever it was, it left him spellbound, as if he were witnessing a vision. "Come on, Ferry, we're going to be late," Matilda's voice broke through his daydreaming, sounding distant and muffled. In the classroom, Ferry chose the last desk to avoid the attention. However, the other children still gathered around, their curious gazes upon him. Ferry found himself equally intrigued by them. All the children clustered around his desk, except for one girl sitting quietly at the front desk near the window, the gardenia girl, now engrossed in a book with thick covers. Meanwhile, Ferry found himself bombarded with questions from his new classmates. "Is it true you haven't left your house for 9 years?" asked a short, dark-haired boy with glasses, his sun-kissed face showing curiosity. 9 years, 2 months, and 8 days, to be exact," replied Ferry. "Or that you sleep hanging from the ceiling like a bat," added a girl with golden tresses and pom-poms. Ferry frowned, unable to remember ever sleeping in such a manner. "I heard he turns into a wolf when it's a full moon," chimed in a boy with puffed cheeks. Matilda rushed to his defense, taking the seat next to him. "Leave him alone or you'll deal with me," she said, causing the other children to scatter like sparrows. One boy remained, however. He was tall, with clear blue eyes and soft blonde hair, his uniform impeccably tailored. "I don't understand why everyone is making such a fuss about him," he said, keeping his gaze fixed on Ferry. "He did nothing special," the boy continued. "In fact, I overheard my servants saying." But he couldn't finish because the teacher came in, and the children took their seats. The blonde boy sat at the front desk by the window, near the gardenia girl. The teacher was a young woman, tall and thin like a cane. Her name was Beatrice Summer. Her warm brown eyes smiled when she greeted her students. "Good morning, children. Welcome back to school." The children chorused in response, "Good morning, Miss Summer." The teacher was not from Good Hearts. Before moving to town, she lived in the big city beyond the hills. Now she was renting a 2-room cottage a few houses away from Fairies. Before taking attendance, Miss Summer asked the class to be quiet. She had an announcement to make. "I would like you to meet your new classmate, Andrew Donovan," she said in a gentle yet firm voice. "Andrew, would you like to say something about yourself?" At first, Ferry didn't realize Miss Summer was talking to him. Matilda's elbow in his ribs reminded him that, eventually. Ferry cleared his throat. "Actually, my name is Ferry. Everyone calls me Ferry." Giggles filled the classroom, but Miss Summer's raised eyebrow quickly silenced the children. She couldn't deny the rumors about him. Ferry was indeed a curious boy. Taller than his classmates, with fair hair and pale skin, while his pointed ears always stuck out from his ruffled, shimmering hair, no matter how hard he tried to hide them. And those eyes. Those big, grey eyes. "Ferry. It says Andrew Donovan here," she said, glancing at the paper in front of her. "My parents call me after my great-grandfather, Ferdinand," Ferry explained, as his mother had taught him. "I see. Well then, welcome Ferry," said Miss Summer with a smile. Ferry nodded and took his seat, trying to ignore the lingering giggles. Miss Summer proceeded to call the roll. That's how Ferry learned the Gardenia girl's name. Mayflower. He couldn't think of a better name. Next was Cecilia Haughty, a blonde girl with a perfect ponytail and sparkling blue eyes. She was the daughter of one of the sawmill's owners, as Matilda whispered in his ear. Then came Matilda's turn, but she was bussy with her falling sock, and almost missed it when Miss Summer called her name. The sun-kissed boy with glasses was Benjamin Knight, but everybody called him Ben. Following him was the blonde boy, William Pride, the son of the other owner of the sawmill, as Matilda loudly informed him. Lastly, there was the puffy-cheeked boy, Daniel Stevens, the most feared little boy among his peers, mostly due to his bulky figure. Miss Summer then gave the class the first assignment, drawing something of their choice. Matilda drew her dog, Shadow, her tongue sticking out of her mouth from too much concentration. The dog looked more like a big grey cow. The other children drew their families, favorite toys, or best friends. Ferry, on the other hand, drew a being of light floating in the air, surrounded by the most beautiful flowers. Miss Summer walked from desk to desk, praising one child or another. When she reached Ferry's desk, she stopped. "Where did you learn to draw like that?" she asked, marveling at the vibrant colors. Ferry shrugged. "Nowhere. It's like my hand is drawing all by itself." Miss Summer nodded and moved to another desk. Ferry noticed her studying him with a small frown on her face. But then Mayflower turned and smiled at him, and Ferry felt a funny warmth taking him over as the giggles in the classroom faded into the background. At home, he talked about school throughout the entire supper. Even his father thought that maybe, just maybe, going to school might be good for his son, after all. That night, Ferry went to bed, his heart filled with hopes and dreams. But as he was about to fall asleep, that familiar little voice whispered in his ear again, cheeky and menacing as ever. "You should thank me, Ferry. And you will, when the time shall come."